Gaza, a name etched in history, a place that has seen the rise and fall of countless civilizations. For millennia, it pulsed as a vital crossroads, a nexus of trade and culture, a bustling hub connecting empires and civilizations, where merchants and travelers converged. This wasn't some dusty backwater. Gaza thrived on trade, becoming a beacon of prosperity. Think silk, spices, and stories flowing from east to west, enriching its markets. Even the pharaohs knew its worth, recognizing its strategic importance. We're talking ancient Egypt, people, a civilization that left an indelible mark. Thutmose III himself mentioned Gaza in inscriptions, highlighting its significance. This guy ruled from 1481 to 1425 BCE, a testament to Gaza's ancient roots. That's older than old, a place steeped in history and heritage. Gaza's strategic location on the Mediterranean coast made it a prime spot for trade and cultural exchange. It was a gateway between powerful empires, a bridge connecting diverse worlds. The Egyptians, the Assyrians, the Persians, they all held sway at different times, each leaving their mark. Each left their mark on Gaza's cultural tapestry, weaving a rich and diverse heritage. But through it all, Gaza endured, standing resilient against the tides of time. Its people, resilient and resourceful, adapted to the changing tides of history, always finding a way to thrive. They farmed the fertile land, nurturing it with care and dedication. They traded with their neighbors, fostering connections and alliances. And they kept the wheels of commerce turning, ensuring the flow of goods and wealth. This wasn't just about economics, it was about survival and prosperity. Gaza was a place of cultural exchange, where ideas and traditions mingled freely. Ideas, philosophies, and religions mingled in its streets, creating a vibrant intellectual atmosphere. This melting pot of cultures shaped Gaza's identity, making it a unique and dynamic place. It's a legacy that continues to resonate today, even amidst the challenges the region faces, a testament to its enduring spirit. Fast forward a few centuries, and the Ottomans swagger into town, bringing with them a new era of rule and influence. They were the big dogs of the 16th century, ruling a vast empire that stretched across 3 continents. Gaza became part of their domain, a jewel in their crown, strategically important and culturally vibrant. Life wasn't always easy, but Gaza prospered under Ottoman rule, becoming a bustling hub of trade and agriculture. The citrus groves were legendary, known far and wide for their quality and abundance. Imagine, 468 hectares of juicy oranges and lemons back in the 1870s, a true agricultural marvel. That's a lot of lemonade. The citrus trade was a significant part of Gaza's economy, but empires, like bad houseguests, eventually wear out their welcome. The Ottoman Empire was no exception. World War I rolled around, and the Ottoman Empire crumbled under the weight of global conflict and internal strife. Enter the British, stage left, with their stiff upper lips and promises of a mandate, ready to reshape the region. They took control of Palestine, carving it up into districts, each with its own unique challenges and dynamics. Gaza became one of 16 districts, lumped in with places like Ashdod and Ashkelon under British administrative control. The British Mandate period, from 1920 to 1948, was a time of growing tension and change. Jewish immigration to Palestine increased, fueled by the Zionist movement's dream of a Jewish homeland, altering the demographic landscape. This sparked conflict with the Arab population, who saw their homeland being chipped away, leading to rising tensions. Gaza, a predominantly Arab area, became a focal point of this struggle, a microcosm of the larger regional conflict. The seeds of future conflict were sown, setting the stage for decades of strife and struggle. 1948, a pivotal year. The British, tired of playing referee, packed their bags and left. Israel declared independence and the Arab-Israeli war erupted. It was a chaotic time, marked by violence and displacement. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians fled or were expelled from their homes. Many ended up in Gaza. Overnight, Gaza transformed. It went from a bustling trade hub to a refuge for the displaced. Imagine the strain on resources, the overcrowding, the despair. The Palestinians called this mass displacement al-Nakba, the catastrophe. It was a wound that would never fully heal. Gaza, once a land of citrus groves and bustling markets, became synonymous with refugee camps. The population swelled. Over 70% of Gaza's residents today are descendants of those refugees. They carry the legacy of displacement, the longing for a lost homeland. The 1948 war left its scars. Gaza was now a tiny strip of land squeezed between Israel and Egypt. It became a pawn in the ongoing power struggle between Israel and its Arab neighbors. Military operations became a grim reality. One such operation was Operation Yoav in 1948. It aimed to secure Israel's southern borders. The result? Even more Palestinian refugees poured into Gaza, seeking safety. The population ballooned from 100,000 to 230,000. Can you imagine? That's like doubling the population of your city overnight. The demographic shifts didn't stop there. The 1967 Six-Day War saw Israel capture Gaza from Egypt. Again, the population swelled as people fled the fighting. Gaza became increasingly isolated, cut off from its neighbors. It was clear military solutions weren't the answer. They only fueled the cycle of violence and displacement. Section 5. A land-divided Israeli settlements and Palestinian displacement. The 1967 war had another consequence: Israeli settlements. They started popping up in Gaza like mushrooms after the rain. These settlements, considered illegal under international law, were a constant source of tension. They encroached on Palestinian land, fueling resentment and resistance. Imagine this: you're living in Gaza, trying to rebuild your life after being displaced. Suddenly, settlements start appearing on the land that was promised to you. Your movement is restricted. Your access to resources is limited. Frustration simmers. Anger boils over. It was a powder keg waiting to explode. The settlements weren't just about land. They were a symbol of Israeli control, a constant reminder of Palestinian dispossession. The situation was unsustainable. Something had to give. Section 6. Disengagement and discord, the rise of Hamas and perpetual conflict. The Oslo Accords in 1993 offered a glimmer of hope for a lasting peace in the region. It led to the establishment of the Palestinian Authority and the promise of self-governance for the Palestinian people. But the dream of peace was short-lived, as tensions and violence soon resurfaced. The Second Intifada erupted in 2000, fueled by frustration over the lack of progress on a Palestinian state and ongoing occupation. In 2005, Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon decided to unilaterally withdraw from Gaza, a move that surprised many. He uprooted the settlements and pulled out the military, leaving Gaza to the Palestinians. It was a stunning move, a sign that maybe, just maybe, things could change for the better. But the withdrawal didn't bring peace. Instead, it sparked new chaos and internal conflict. Hamas, a Palestinian Islamist group that opposed the Oslo Accords, gained strength in Gaza, capitalizing on the power vacuum. In 2006, they won parliamentary elections, a significant political shift. A year later, they seized control of Gaza by force, ousting their rivals, Fatah. This takeover led to an Israeli-Egyptian blockade, effectively turning Gaza into an open-air prison with severe restrictions. The blockade had a devastating impact on the region's infrastructure and economy. It crippled Gaza's economy, restricted movement, and choked off access to essential goods and services. The humanitarian situation deteriorated rapidly, with hospitals struggling and children suffering. Gaza became a byword for suffering, a place where hope struggled to survive amidst the ongoing conflict and hardship. Section 7, Trump's Gambit, a disrupted chessboard and uncertain futures. Fast forward to 2020. Donald Trump, the unpredictable U.S. president, throws a wrench into the already complex situation. He unveils his Peace to Prosperity plan. It's a controversial proposal, to say the least. Trump's plan proposes letting Israel annex about 30% of the West Bank. In exchange, Palestinians would get a demilitarized state, including Gaza. They'd also get some land from the Negev desert. Sounds like a fair trade, right? Not so fast. Critics panned the plan as biased towards Israel. They argued it would cement Israeli control and leave Palestinians with a fragmented, non-viable state. The plan went nowhere. But it highlighted the volatile nature of the conflict and the difficulty of finding a lasting solution. Section 8, Gaza Today, a humanitarian crisis unfolding. Today Gaza is a land on the brink. The blockade continues, stifling the economy and trapping its people. Unemployment is sky-high, poverty is rampant. Basic services like healthcare and education are stretched to breaking point. Imagine living in a place where clean water is a luxury, where electricity is sporadic at best, where the threat of conflict hangs over your head like a dark cloud. That's the reality for the 2.3 million Palestinians living in Gaza. The international community provides aid, but it's a band-aid on a gaping wound. The root causes of the conflict, the occupation, the blockade, the lack of a political horizon, need to be addressed. Until then, Gaza will remain a humanitarian disaster, a stain on the conscience of the world. Section 9, A Glimmer of Hope, Finding Paths to Peace and Reconciliation. The situation in Gaza is dire, but amidst the rubble there's a flicker of hope. Ordinary Palestinians and Israelis are reaching across the divide, building bridges of understanding. They know that peace won't come from politicians or military solutions, it has to come from the ground up. There are grassroots organizations working tirelessly to promote dialogue and reconciliation. They're bringing Palestinians and Israelis together to break down stereotypes and build trust. They're showing that a different future is possible, one where both peoples can live in peace and security. The road to peace is long and arduous, but these glimmers of hope remind us that it's a journey worth taking. The people of Gaza deserve nothing less.